Hey guys, welcome to our show. We're back for the second installment now. I'm David Arbertazzi.
And I'm Ethan Casellas. How's it going, guys?
We're going to start off with a little bit of Penn State takeaways from Purdue because there's a lot to talk about. And, well, it was arguably the best offensive production I've seen in a long time from the Lions.
I would say, yeah, putting up 511 yards. That was huge. 62 points, 45 of which coming in the second half. I mean, haven't matched that since 2011 against Coastal Carolina, 2005 against Illinois in the Big Ten. So, needless to say, it was a big outing for Penn State. A lot of that came on Saquon Barkley's huge day, 277 all-purpose yards. That's a career high for the sophomore.
And I think something to talk about, too, is just how he was able to do that. And, you know, as we've seen in years past with Penn State football, the issue hasn't necessarily been the running backs, it's been up front, the offensive line.
Right.
The offensive line has been decimated by lack of depth, scholarship reduction, just you name it. However, it's a completely different front for the Lions now. A player that I look at that's just really made the difference is Ryan Bates, and a play that I want to point out is Saquon's 81-yard touchdown run. So if you watch the replay, it's pretty incredible that the difference in size between Barkley and Bates, but yeah, Bates is still able to do this. So Barkley flies up the right side, but as you watch, number 52 is right there with him. He's blocking the whole way. He finishes his block, and he really creates that wide open hole for him.
Some 40, 50 yards downfield, which you hardly ever see out of an offensive line.
Right,
So.
and let alone someone as young as he is. So to be able to do that, I mean, it's helping Penn State make these special plays. It's helping Barkley put up these numbers, and in turn, it's helping this offense run like clockwork. And it's really, it's fun to watch. You know, as we saw, it wasn't just Barkley, it was Sanders, it was Andre Robinson.
All of the running backs had a touchdown, scored on all 8 trips to the red zone. 28 points off of turnovers is another big thing as well for the defense. We played a lot of nickel and dime in the second half to really kind of combat David Blau's passing attack. Purdue really tries to go through the air with most of their offense. So
really showed how deep this Nittany Lions team is. So we're going to throw it back a little bit here and talk about Penn State and Iowa's history, and it's a close one.
Penn State leads the all-time series 13-12. The Hawkeyes had Penn State's number in the early 2000s, capped off by that ugly 6-4 win in Beaver Stadium. But Penn State does hold the last win in the series, coming in 2012 on the road in Bill O'Brien's first year, and a 38-14 win.
But the two important ones we want to talk about are from years 2008 and 2009. And the reason those are important for those well-versed Penn State fans, you likely know where I'm going with this. Iowa played the role of spoiler, not once but twice. 2008 was arguably the bigger upset, given that
lone regular season loss that year. Happened to pull off the last second field goal to win 24-23.
Right. And I'm going to name a couple names here just to make you all at home feel really old. So Iowa's quarterback was Ricky Stanzi. Running the ball was Sean Green. You got Tony Moyaki at tight end. I mean, it's a throwback for Penn State. Obviously, Daryl Clark leading the charge.
Right, that was the eventual Rose Bowl team. That was their only loss in the regular season.
And everyone speculates what could have been, and most people know what probably could have been. But
right, and then 2009, you got that whiteout game. Last time Penn State was ranked in the top 10 at number 4. Went with that quick strike from Daryl Clark to Chaz Powell. Went up 10-0, and then, of course, 21 unanswered points, holding Penn State scoreless in the final 3 quarters. Pretty much put a dent in that one.
But you can't overstate the importance of Saturday's game, especially given the momentum that the team is riding and the potential whiteout.
Got to think Penn State's going to be favored in their last 4 games, but this is quite possibly the hardest test. I mean, Michigan State in most years would be a very, very hard game, but the Spartans are kind of reeling there in East Lansing.
And just not to look too far ahead, but after Iowa, you have at Indiana, at Rutgers, and then finishing at home, like you just said, against a lackluster Michigan State team. Looking at this 4-game stretch, I mean, Iowa's the team that stands out as the team that could once again play spoilers.
So shifting our focus to Iowa, the Hawkeyes come into Happy Valley 5-3, but they are 3-0 on the road thus far.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa's a really talented team. Obviously, a drop-off in production from last year, given that
Not as quite of a senior-heavy roster as they had in years past, right?
And I mean, this is an Iowa team that got up to number 4 in the nation. If LJ Scott doesn't score that touchdown in the Big Ten championship, it's a completely different ball game. Maybe Iowa makes some noise in the playoff. Who knows? But this year, it's a different story. But they're a talented team nonetheless.
A lot of Iowa's offense does go through the run game. I mean, Akram Wadley, LaShawn Daniels, 2 guys both over 600 yards on the season, 14 rushing touchdowns combined between the 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, that in itself presents a pretty significant issue for the front 7 in that you're not going to see the same guy. This is a team that can mix it up. This is a team that can give you different looks, and it's on Brent Pry to have his guys ready for whatever they're faced with, and just understanding that this is a team that's going to run it down your throat. While this isn't number 20 Penn State versus number 1 Iowa, it's a situation where Penn State needs to win games. They know they need to win out, and this is going to show, I think, a lot about Penn State's quarterback going forward. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'm David Abruzzese.
And I'm Ethan Casales. We'll see you guys next time.